I've always had the philosophy that the quality of the human resource is a determining factor for success. I still believe that. If you hire weak people, you have a weak system. If you hire strong people, you have a strong system. Okay, I was born November the 11th, 1925 in Denver, Colorado. My daddy was a World War I veteran. Came back to the Upton area when I was 3 years old. He had a contract at the time with the Hardin County Board of Education where he hauled the African American kids to bond washing school. I can remember the time when my mother on Sunday morning would go out and get a young pullet, wring his neck off, take a thing in boiling water and fry it for breakfast. Because y'all can't relate to those times. Yeah. I graduated from Upton High School in 1943. I did a lot of things. I know when I was 14 years old, in the summer, I slept in a tent in Fort Knox all summer and washed dishes 8 hours a day in a first service club for 500 people for $40 a month. And a couple of years after that, I spent my senior year at night working in the laundry at Fort Knox, going to school in the daytime. There wasn't any money back then. You know, now my daddy got out of World War I. He lived back and lived in a little old cabin down past Lucas Road Baptist Church. You know what I'm talking about? Way back in the woods back there. He walked to Upton Quarry and back, which would be total about 15 miles. Took a dinner in a water bucket and worked for 10 hours with a 16-pound sledgehammer for 50 cents. Now, that's hard to believe, isn't it? But now, I mean, gee, right now, everybody's having a hard time. Oh my God, they all drive nice cars, they all live in nice homes. I never lived in a house when I was a kid growing up that had plumbing or central heat. They built a fire in pot-belly stove. We cooked inside and went to the bathroom outside. Mm-hmm. Now, do the opposite. They cook outside, go to the bathroom inside. So I went into service in 1944 on USS Intrepid. It was featured here the other day. U.S. carrier. Before that, before I went aboard, I went to firefighting school in a little Mexican town in California. And I went aboard the USS Intrepid in 1944. I went to work as a firefighter and played on the ship's basketball team. I was in combat when I was 18 years old. That's no fun, I can tell you that right now. I'll tell you one thing, that's a different ball game there, buddy. Yeah. I've gone to bed at night. They slept forward racks on the ship, you know. I've gone to bed at night. The guy slept above me, below me, and across from me, lay in the sack with him on the side next day. That'll wake you up. Mm-hmm. November the 25th, we caught, I think, 5 kamikazes while I was on there. We shoved 72 young sailors over the side in the Pacific Ocean, and I'm damn lucky I wasn't one of them. We were poor people when I got out. Poor people. When I got out of the service, the only way I could have gone to college is on GI Bill. Every bit of my training in Western, my 3 years, I spent 3 years at Western. My third summer, I was doing 9 hours, I had 9 hours of graduate work. I carried 21 hours. Roscoe Murray, who was adjutant general of the state of Kentucky, was my high school principal and next door neighbor. So he took me to Western and said, "This is my boy, why don't you take care of him?" He brought me to LaRue County and did the same thing. Okay, I came here in 1950. I didn't even have a car. I bought a car, borrowed the money and bought a car when I came to LaRue County in 1950. I came to Buffalo to coach basketball. Of course, you know the story about that. But it was kind of an ordeal. I mean, back then, I had to build fire in pot-bellied stoves, one each end of the gymnasium. It was kind of an ordeal, you know. Anyhow, and I spent 4 years there, good years, worked my tail off. We won 70% of our games. They hadn't won but 2 games in 2 or 3 years, I don't think, when I went there. But we won 70% of our games. And in 1950, I had accepted a job at Fort Knox, which at that time one of the better jobs in the area in coaching. Mr. Haney, who did a lot for the LaRue County school system, Over Haney, came and said, "I want you to go principal of Hodgeville." I said, "I'm not interested. I'm going to Fort Knox." So he talked me into coming over here. And I faced 1,000 kids and 40 teachers. I didn't have a friend in the building because I've been coaching Buffalo. But anyhow, we worked the thing out there, you know. I started coaching one day. My first year here, I wound up having to teach a class of biology. I had 43 in it, 1 microscope. Public speaking. A girls' PE class, which is the only one the last one I had. Next time I had a piece of chalk, that girls' PE class was gone. Didn't want that. We didn't have much. I was lucky I had some good boys. I mean, it worked hard.
What about
A named Fairchild. You always remember him. He was a business teacher, and he just went to Indiana. He was good. Mr. Harvey was principal at the time. He came from Metcalfe County. The first things I did when I took over as superintendent in 1967, you wouldn't believe it, 1967, we were still using buses owned by individuals. In other words, first thing I did was went and bought out all the people that owned the buses, and we did our own system. We built a garage, hired maintenance people, and took care of our own thing. Same thing with handling finances. 1967, when I took over, we had what we called an agent of record, where one insurance agency controlled the bidding process and every other agency got a cut. I said, we're not going that way anymore. First year, we're bidding it. The low bid gets the bid, and that's it. We're not doing a permanent record system. Didn't even have one. He just kept it in the... We had 2 people in the school system then, in administration. A. Lee Graham was superintendent. Sarah Howard was director of personnel, and that's the staff. That's it. That's all it was. Two women down upstairs over Markham Store. When I came over here, we made some changes, you know, and it was pretty tough. We hired Corky that first year. After I was here second year, I guess. And Corky did a good job, good job. And we had some good football coaches that did a good job. Integration, consolidation, and no problem really. And as far as integration is concerned, I never treated a black kid any different than a white kid. All the same, got to be. Mm-hmm. You got to be fair. You wouldn't believe this, but we had classes on the school bus. It was crowded up there. Didn't have any facilities at all. The amount of money, for instance, going to where it should go. In other words, what percent goes to instruction? What percent goes to administration? What percent goes to transportation? What current expense, capital outlay? We were number one in the state for 2 or 3 years when they had that formula. Number three, three was the worst we had at the time. Now, most people don't know that. The thing that always concerned me is, of course, you couldn't relate to this, but the funds that are appropriated for schools need to go to help children, not to help the bank or certain individuals or certain other people. And Mr. Haney came here, where he tried to turn things around. And he was different, but he was a good schoolman. I mean, he brought things, for instance, like a good band, a good football team, and things that, that you rally around and all. KT, when it first came into existence, Leonard Press and Lillian Press, I served on the advisory council on KT and was very impressed with him. And Lillian Press is one who initiated the Governor's Scholar Program. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
They're one of my grandsons. Every one of my grandsons went through that good program. Another thing that was unique to the Rouge School system, the physical fitness program. You remember that?
Yes, sir.
They called me from the State Department, wanted to know if we were interested in serving as one of the 7 pilot schools in the nation on physical fitness. And I said, I don't know whether I can put that in the schedule or not. I said, give me time. Right? So anyhow, I figured the thing out, we worked the thing out. In fact, I taught a special class in it. And we all year long, that's a good program. It required every student to have physical activity for 30 minutes every day, and then we kept a profile on them. Stuart Pepper from Magnolia, and got him. Mr. Haney, and at that time Tom Walter went down there and tried to get him. He was at Hart Memorial. I came back and said, he won't come. I said, well, the hell no, he's not coming, because I said, you got to offer him something. I said, he knows we're going to consolidate. And he said, it's okay. You tell him he have any job except the one, the high school job, yours. So I go down and get Stuart. I said, okay, what do you want? He said, I want the principal of Hydenville Elementary School. I said, okay, you got it. Okay, we should nowadays. Got into a fracas of who's going to be the basketball coach. Well, 2 board members, 2 members. Back then, board members voted on it. Came to me and said, look. I said, I gave my word that Stuart Pepper would be the principal of Hydenville. He either gets it or I'm gone. I'm not going to be in that kind of situation. So we were great. He said, you go down there and tell him that we'll make him assistant principal of the high school and pay him more than he would if he's Hydenville.
So that work?
Do what?
I said, did that work?
That's the reason Mr. Harvey came to Hydenville. Mr. Harvey wouldn't have been in Hydenville had it been for that. He'd just been in Buffalo. Okay. Stuart Pepper came here and stayed. Outstanding administrator, good, really good guy. Another one, that that done real well. And I'll mention this. You remember Phil Easton?
Yes, sir.
Well, Phil left here and went back to Bowling Green. I got a call from a lady from Ashland. She was in Denver at the night. She called me. Ed Phil Easton is an applicant for a superintendent job. I said, if you can hire him. You won't be sorry. He went to Ashland, did a great job for him, did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of good people. Bill Nally, great. He done really well. He's highly respected in Frankfurt. Yeah. Bill Braden, you remember him? You don't remember him?
I don't remember him.
Bill taught here. He got at one time was chairman of the guidance councils of nationwide of the national organization. He had his doctorate. Great guy. You remember Craig Cornish?
Yes, sir.
You know where he is?
Not sure.
He's band director at Middle Tennessee, which is one of the top band programs in the United States. And I watched him one time when he was in Nebraska. He left Nebraska and went to Middle Tennessee. He won a heart from Lexington. Good boy. I had a great wife. We lived together 44 years. I lost her in 1990. She'd been gone 26 years. You wouldn't believe this, and I wouldn't recommend it. But when I got out of the service in 1946, I guess 46, I met Claire on a blind date. She'd been working in physical therapy in Texas. She worked in physical therapist aide at Fort Knox. I met her on a blind date in August. Married her in October. 2 months.
Must have been love at first sight.
Can't beat that, can you?
Nope.
Like I said, all right, sometimes you have a hard time with people who can't make a decision. I have to make a decision. And that's probably the best decision I ever made. I had a good wife. Great wife. I lived with her for 44 years. Never heard her raise her voice to one of my 3 sons. At the time we had 3 sons, we lost our middle boy. Never heard her raise her voice to one of them. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
It is.
And most people wouldn't believe that, but that's the truth. She wouldn't argue with you. Nothing arguing. She'd go in the other room, you know. But she was a good mother. And my boys take after her. Both my boys. Sam, you wouldn't think Sam's easy to go. But Ronnie's the same way. Ronnie's. My 2 boys really they take care of me now. Of course, I've always been very proud of my family. I think that, and of course, your family too is important. You know, that's the thing that worries me right now about our country right now, is the fragmentation of the family.
Right.
It just, you know, the family is important. And I'm proud of the job Sam's done. I'm proud of the job that Ronnie's done. And I'm proud of their grandkids. I have a grandson now at the UCLA. He's doing his residency in psychiatry. He just finished medical school, University of Louisville. Mm-hmm. And Trevor is a sophomore at Western right now. And of course, Ronnie's 2 older boys have done well. And I think that's important. We have people that's done really well at Left LaRue County. They're quality people. Yeah.
You still got some of them in LaRue County, too.
You better believe it. Yeah. The good school system is important. That is actually the foundation of democracy, a good school system. Mm-hmm. Some dedicated old timers that really were good teachers. Money appropriated for schools need to go to children. That's it.